Hi guys. So today we learn about Python virtual environment. What is it? When we have a box on cloud like AWS instance or on a laptop, you would find that there are several. So by default, Python 2.7 is the version which comes by default on a box. Now what happen is you have an application and you want to run it on 3.3, and you have one application which still uses Python 2.7. So these are two different versions. So you need both of them, or rather you have another application you fork from GitHub which might need 3.a. So this is the problem statement. You have these three different versions, and how would you do that? If you uninstall this and then do this when you need to run this project, you have to install this again and uninstall, so it will be a mess, right? So the simple problem, the simple solution for the problem is Pyenv. So this is a powerful Python version management tool. You can easily update Python environment and library being used. So I am using a Mac now. Inside the Mac, how would we use that? Let me show you here real quick. Okay. So you have your brew basically. So like using brew, first thing is you need to install the Pyenv. In my case, it's already installed here. So let me show you this. So you would install Pyenv. So what it will do is it can tell you how many virtual, like Python 3 to whatever the versions, you can always see, look at them, and then you can switch over the versions. Second thing which you will be required is a Python virtual, like Pyenv submodule, Python virtual env. Now what this thing does, so imagine you have two versions like 2 and 3.3 and 3.8, let's say multiple version. Now in particular version, if you have multiple projects using that, you want things to be isolated. I'm giving you example. You have a project which is using MongoDB, and then it is using PyMongo version of 3.2, and another is using PyMongo version of 4.0. So how would you do that, right? So here, so let's visualize this in this way, that first thing is you have the version. Now inside the version, so you have version 3.3. Now you have three different projects, and it has a library of MongoDB called as PyMongo. So first one uses version 3.4, this uses 4.1 dot, and so to manage this, you need another layer of isolation, which is called as Python Virtual Environment, is a plugin which manages the Python virtual environment. So these libraries will not clash to the other one. Let me change the color. So this will be a separate folder than this. And the version, this might be very different from, for example, 2.7. So here is Pyenv, and this guy is Pyenv's virtual environment. So let's run this. Enough of the mm, theory. Let's run this and understand it. So now I have installed Pyenv, right? So let's do this. So this will install Pyenv virtual environment. Once we have that, we can always do the initialization in the bash. So I am using Z shell, so I will make changes based on that. But in nutshell, once you have that, you can always list whatever are the versions you have. So let's do that real quick. So once you will have that, I have all these versions of Pyenv, and I can install any specific version of Python. Now to install per specific version of Python, we can just give it the version number, basically pyenv installed, and then x dot, for example 3.5.x. Once you do that, you will have that version installed. Now how to make your or create your virtual environment? So let's try this, basically pyenv virtual environment. So what I am going to do is, I have already installed Python 3.5.5, and I'll just name test and here and enter. So now imagine it is creating as a separate computer, kind of separate computer, in terms of a folder. So if I do ls, so it will create this guy here in this envs, and this would be the name. So let me take you there. So if you do ls, your test environment is there. If you do test, this is a separate isolated folder. It would have all the dependencies which will be required, for your particular project. And then if you have to create another virtual environment, you can of course do that by making new. So this will create another folder, and this will be done over here in a new folder. So let's go here and do a ls. So these are two. So whatever are the number of projects, in short, you you can make sure that whatever version of Python you need and whatever libraries you need, they will sit its own folder, and that folder is treated as the virtual environment.